From the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it's high noon and high time that you tuned into the Spirit of Sports, hosted by Brother Richie. The Spirit of Sports is the flagship of the NotPods family. NotPods' complete archive can be found at NotPods on YouTube. And now for our host, Brother Richie.
Hey, and aloha. Welcome to the Spirit of Sports, brought to you by NotPods, at my NotPods channel, YouTube, notpods.com, owned by me. There's my one person, and 3, 2, 1, gone. I don't even think that thing works. I've never had more than 2 on there. Pretty sure 2 people listen once in a while. One day I'm going to have 4 or 5 listen. Anyway, let's get right into it. The Spirit of Sports, Brother Richie, live from the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I'm coming at you just past high noon. This is Friday. My Friday show, I'm going to do Tuesday and Friday, Spirit of Sports, high noon. Wednesday evenings will be Emelani the Great. That's going to be what we're doing for now. So I don't water down the content and can have a, I think, more concise show. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. A little bit of college football to start. So John Harbaugh and Michigan agree to this 3-game suspension and looks like wash it under the table. To me, it feels like a witch hunt. One of those, everybody's doing it. And maybe somebody inside the building was pissed off, narked them out. What do we learn in kindergarten? Nobody likes a tattletale. But whoever narked them out, and then it's the witch hunt is on, I believe, full witch hunt. No due process, just, hey, the other, 12 teams now in the Big Ten? That makes sense. Like the ACC is going to have Cal and Stanford, whatever. Anyway, the Big Ten said, hey, we got to punish this guy because we don't like him and he's an a-hole. And so they kind of railroad this through 3 games. And then they say, you know what? As the late, great Bobby Knight once said to Connie Chung on Dateline, I believe it was, back, might have been the 90s, even the 80s. And he famously said, and it was probably taken out of context, they said, you know, if rape's inevitable, you might as well sit back and enjoy it. I think Michigan said, you know what? They blindsided us. They witch hunted us. They railroaded us. Take the 3 games. Probably won't matter. And then he'll come back, and then that'll be it. And I'm sure the Michigan people feel like they've been kind of screwed. And then I'm sure that the Ohio States and the Purdue's and the rest of the country that can't stand Michigan and Jim Harbaugh and can't stand to see him having success and probably laughed at his lack of success. And they're probably saying, wait, that's it? But we wanted a railroad. We wanted, come on. And that's what it's going to be. And I think they did the right thing. Might as well. Some more college football news. This one's weird. Has Texas A&M ever been relevant, really? Huge stadium, huge fans. Got a bunch of guys running around campus like they're in the military, which I never really understood that. And the humping and the yelling and the 12th man. I believe they started the 12th man over Seattle. I believe so. But, I mean, when's the last time they were in the SEC championship game or the playoff? Never. Jimbo Fisher, 7 years left on his contract. $76 million left. He was 45-25, 64% winning percentage. And they fire him. And $8 million to buy out his assistants as well. 6 seasons in the SEC. I think he had a couple 10-win seasons. And he's 6-4 this year. And mid-season, talk about delusions of grandeur, illusions of grandeur. I was never quite sure. I think delusion. Talk about delusional with illusions of grandeur. Texas A&M football. Look in the mirror. And who are you going to get? Dang, we lost to Alabama and Florida and Georgia. Dang, we better fire our coach because we're Texas A&M and we expect more than that for no apparent reason. Whatever, Bob. Moving on, weirdos, kind of dumbasses. Babe Ruth behind me, by the way, with the Boston Red Sox, actually. That one's kind of classic. Got some Emiliani's, got one Brother Richie, got the golf map of the world. The brain's back here somewhere. There's the brain. Fluff Muffin, Squishy Face as we take a break. And the Spirit of Sports brought to you by Not Pods. This is Brother Richie coming at you live just past high noon. Friday, 11/17. Talk about a big week starting tomorrow and the following Friday for my Oregon State Beavers. 8-2, could be 10-0. One of those, Arizona or Wazoo. Between those two, it's hard. The Arizona game hurts me worse because Wazoo actually played pretty good, even though they only have one Pac-12 win, apparently. But they had guys running wide open, nobody within 5 yards of them for about 3 quarters, and that was irritating. The Arizona game with a terrible play call. I don't mind. You can make a decision to fake field goal. There's the decision, but then there's the play call. The decision's fine. But when you're at the 30-yard line, you can't just toss it to your kicker right up the gut and expect that's great if it's 4th and 7 in the third quarter. If you're going to fake the field goal with 3 seconds left in the half, you got to throw to the end zone. And now what if you need that play in the Civil War or the UW game? So yeah, huge 2 games left. Tomorrow, I got to work. Couldn't get out of it. UW, I don't know if I want to watch. It's just so stressful. Tomorrow, UW, and also love your enemy's enemy. If we beat UW, that puts Oregon in the driver's seat for a possible playoff bid. I think they're number 6 in the country. They're the top 1-loss team. They just throw 60 points on everybody. It's effing irritating. But if we beat UW, that helps out Oregon, and I'm not sure that I want that. I guess they would play again in the Pac-12 championship. I don't know. Just Florida State, Georgia, Michigan, and no. Georgia, Florida State, Michigan, not Washington. Who's number 4? Got to look it up. I'm sorry. You top 4. Just keep winning. How about that? Keep on winning. Top 4. Come on. NCAA. By the way, and I talk about it all the time, this app right here, Sports Alerts with a whistle right there. Everybody says their shit's the best. This shit's the best. We go to NCAA football. We go to standings. Oh, Ohio State, of course. Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State. Keep winning. Oh, Ohio State's going to play Michigan probably. Arg. Then UW's going to have to beat Oregon, or we might just have to beat Oregon. But 2 games left for my Beavers. 2 games. The Native Ducks coming in. We go down there. A week from today, Black Friday. We come today. We are in Eugene, Oregon, the worst town on earth. I would rather go to the Ukraine than Eugene, Oregon. I'll say it again. I'll say it over. Never again will I set foot in that town. They're a-holes. They're classless. They cheat. Blood money, Nike, patchouli oil, granola, stinky hippies. Eugene, eat one. We got to go in there and beat them. Because if not, it's going to be UW and them again, and UW is going to have to beat them again, and we can't have them in the playoff. So the Pac-12, I don't know exactly. I don't think they even know, but somehow, from what I understand, is let's get the pen. If we can keep the Pac-12, recruit some teams, and we can keep some of the stuff. There's something in Broward County or something in Washington where there's a lawsuit that only us and Wazoo should have the votes and where the money distribution and all that, because they left. But then, well, it's still the Pac-12 till the end of the season. But I don't know what's going on. What are we gonna do? Big 12, just be the Big 20. Look at us. We can hold our own. We can make a little money. Be the Big 12. Be the Big 20. Let us in. Poor little Wazoo. Poor little Beavers. Let me tell you, tomorrow, huge game in Corvallis tomorrow. UW. Somehow we're 2.5 point favorites. I don't know, bro. I'd probably put my money on the Huskies. Everybody says we match up good with them, and I hope we do. Kind of about how our DBs do. Maybe get some pressure on them. Michael Penix Jr. and then Bo Nix. So, what a way to send off the Pac-12 and try to recruit some teams, or do we just join the Mountain West and, I mean, hopefully dominate that, and when it's a 12-team playoff, maybe get an automatic bid. That wouldn't be the worst thing, just be in the playoff. But I don't know how that's for recruiting. Now you get to play Boise State and Sac State and Hawaii, and oh yeah, don't forget Idaho and Utah State, and I don't know. It's just crap. And what really sucks is this is probably the best that the Pac-12 maybe has ever been. Maybe ever. And this is the year that, see ya. Cat fight. Keep it down. Pseudo studio, middle of the Pacific Ocean. You never know what's going on. Yeah. Dismantling after the best season maybe that the Pac-12 has ever had. Kliavkoff and Larry Scott, very much to blame. Maybe sat on their laurels a little bit, didn't accept the money from ESPN 4 or 5 years ago, pushing $100 million contract. No, we'll be okay. Pac-12 network sucks. The announcers suck. Can't find it. You know, there's like 10 different regions of it. Stupid. Larry Scott. We're big boy conference. Have a big boy network. Have a big boy TV deal. But no, that, and then since they're not making the money, and when a big, larger conference and a big boy conference comes calling and says, you're going to make 3 times as much money to USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington. Come with us and you'll make 70 million instead of 15 million. Well, I really don't blame them. I mean, they can be blamed for leaving, but the reason for leaving, really can't blame them. So here we are, stuck with us and Wazoo, and we couldn't even win the Pac-2 this year. Oh, that one hurts. Arizona hurts. Everybody hurts. Sometimes everybody hurts. Sometimes. Is it legal to sing snippets of songs? Until I get a cease and desist. I think that's all we need to talk about. Let's see. What are some other big games, though? NCAA. This week, we got Georgia at Tennessee. Come on, Georgia. Ohio State home for Minnesota. So Georgia's a 9-point favorite. They were pretty dominant last week. Their offense is coming around. Ohio State 27.5-point favorites, home for Minnesota. Florida State playing. Why are you playing North Alabama? This should have to end too. There's no reason Alabama should be playing Mercer on week 12 or whoever the hell they play. It's crap. Utah, Arizona, who cares? Who cares? Big Bama, they play Tennessee, Chattanooga in week 12. Get that crap out in week 2. This has to change. When it's super conferences, you should never play a Division I AA or FBS or whatever the hell. What a great idea. I want to make a name for myself. We're going to change it from Division I and Division 1A and AA to FBS and FCS and confuse the crap out of everybody. Because I just want to make, do something different. Like every GM that gets hired, you're fired, and I'm going to bring my guy in, and we're going to change the menu, and now we're going to do this system. And I don't know, bro. We've been here 20 years. Everything works pretty good. Let's move on. Let's move on to the NFL. Week 11. I got my picks. I'm going to break down every game. I do a little, I do the head coach matchup, quarterback, running back room, receiving room, and defense. And O-line, except I haven't done the homework on the O-line or the defense. So just what I think. But first of all, Deshaun Watson had the high ankle sprain, but also had a broken bone in his shoulder socket, apparently. Out for the season. Went 14 for 14 in the second half and apparently had this broken shoulder bone that they don't want to play because it could pretty much, his arm could fall off, apparently. But is it kind of karma? Is it kind of the football god saying, bro, you were kind of a douche? So we're going to just put a little bit of stymie on you. A pox upon you, if it were, as it were, if I may. So Watson out. Tight end for Baltimore out, which sucks. Mark Andrews having a pretty good year. OBJ got dinged up. Lamar got dinged up. Just injuries won't stop. Tick-tock and you don't stop. Fantasy Live crew, weeks 1 through 4, I followed them pretty closely. They were giving us terrible advice. Terrible advice. Week 1 and 2 was 28% good advice, 35%, then it went up. So through week 4, 45.7% good advice. So on the season it was 40.3%. So 60% of their advice was, and if you're following them, you're wondering why you're in the bottom third of your fantasy league, that's why. Well, I decided, week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We took 5 weeks off. I went on vacation, kind of been busier with the kid. Just finding time can be hard. Working full time, which is 25 hours, but in Hawaii. But I took a break from Fantasy Live Crew and I watched them this week. I watched 2 shows, 92 minutes. They talked about 68 players, so that is still freaking terrible. And I went down to the store, and we're on this hype train from New Orleans to Brooklyn. What do you think of this? Well, because of this and that and that. How about just say, yeah, I'm hyped on him. Nope, drop, add. You can do 200-300. So that's still terrible. It's a terrible waste of consumer time and airspace. But I will say 59% good advice. So they went from 40-60 to 60-40. Remember how it used to be 60-40? Well, it still is, only now it's 60-40. Anyone? Bad Boys, the original Sean Penn. It's a good one. So Fantasy Live crew coming around, looking better. Got their shit together. Sounds like a little bit. So if you listen to them, you might be in the middle of the pack instead of dead last. But exciting week 11. We're going to break it down game by game and give you my picks straight up and with the spread. And know this year, and I'm sure it's been this through history, 1 to 2 and at max 3 games that the spread even comes into account. So if you can pick the winners, first of all, just go down and pick the winners. Don't even look at the spread. Then when you do look at the spread, I'm going to tell you this too. It's about the big numbers that the spread attracts. 3. If the spread is 3, there's a good chance that that's going to have an effect. 6. 3, 6, 9, 2.5. And a couple 7s. And 1, 14.5. So if it's a big spread, usually the spread won't even matter. Big spreads, the team just covers. Three, 6, and 9 seem to be the big numbers that spreads might have an effect. So I just say pick the winners. Don't worry too much about the spreads. Let's get into it. My Fab 5. Oh, wait. What was that? Was that Fab 5 coming? I'm nervous, that's why. Whenever we do my picks, it makes me nervous. Last week I was 2-2 in my 4-pack. I'm 1 game under 500. Oh my, I don't know that 4's up. Colin's 2 games under. We'll get into that later. Nick Wright, he's terrible. He does 3 a week. I do 4. Colin does Blazing 5. I'm better than both of them right now. So we'll take that. My Fab 5. It's not just a Michigan thing. And why hasn't anybody done that since 1990, 91, 92? 5 best guys from across the country. Let's go play for that guy at that school. Seems like a no-brainer. They're the only ones that have ever done it. And that makes no sense to me. So my Fab 5, it's not just the Beatles, because that's the Fab 4. Maybe I'm the 5th Beatle. Hey, hi, mate. 5th Beatle. Stupid. This is my Fab 5. It was Thursday night, Cincy at Baltimore. I had Baltimore. I do this. I don't give the picks till Friday, but I do these on Wednesday. That's what the spreads are. And I promise. Wednesday night, I do these picks. Or Thursday morning before the game, before the Thursday night game, I pick all the games. So I had Baltimore straight up. I had Baltimore minus 3.5 at home. Broke that game down. They both effed me out of my survivor pool. 2 different pools last week, one for 10 grand and one for 8 grand. So $18,000 potentially. Still have to win. There's 50 guys left, but still out of 250. 80% of the guys were gone. They both just effed me, bro. So I'm pissed at both of them. But when I broke it down, I like Harbaugh. Quarterbacks even. I much prefer the Baltimore running back room. Keaton Mitchell, Gus the Bus, the Gus Bus. Get on the Gus Bus. I'm in a couple leagues. What a stud. Receiving room with Higgins out was pretty much a push. And then defense. So Baltimore, quite a bit on the right side. So that was my number one of my Fab Five for week 12. The Spirit of Sports, Brother Richie. My second game, my Fab Five, my 5 favorite games of the week. Las Vegas Raiders at Miami, for real? Top 5 game. Vegas, since they fired the Dark Cloud and they have a locker room that's joyous and players type coach, Antonio Pierce, big rebirth, 2-0. Miami coming off the bye, big test for the Raiders. I still don't buy them. My 5-star under 6.5 was that Josh McDaniels would be there. So I say take that off the board. Didn't see him getting fired mid-season. I didn't know Mark Davis had enough money for a buyout. I guess when your assistant coach just steps up, that's not too expensive. Vegas, Miami, usually a big spread. Only one time this year has a big spread not covered, but I'm taking Miami straight up. But I like Vegas at 13.5. I think they keep it close. Get some pressure on Tua. Defensive backfield, not great, but I think that's a big line for the way Raiders are playing. So I got Baltimore straight up and the points. I have Vegas with the points, Miami straight up. Game number 3 of my Fab 5, Week 12, the NFL 2023, the year our Lord. Arizona at Houston. What? For real? Arizona at Houston is a top 5 game for me. Week 12. Kyler looking like an old self, running around, making plays. CJ looking to move up in the MVP comment board. 5 points. I do have Houston, and I'm giving the points. 5 points usually, so far this year, hasn't even affected the spread. The spread has not come into play once. So, Arizona at Houston, my 3rd game. My Fab 5, the 4th game. Minnesota Vikings at Denver Broncos. What? For real? These 3? Vegas at Miami, Arizona at Houston, Minnesota at Denver. 3 weeks ago, if somebody told you week 12, those are going to be 3 of the Fab 5. Brother Richie's Fab 5. You would say, Brother Richie don't know shit. Shut the F up. But it's true. This Josh Dobbs experience rolls on. 2 weeks ago, not one snap in practice. Doesn't even know the guys' names. Listening to the headphone. Blue 86 route cut on X2 beam. Okay, whatever that is, throw to a guy. Touchdown. Last week, another great game. Russ's rebirth in Denver. Just coming off victories over the Chiefs at home and at Buffalo. They're not a joke anymore. So to me, that is definitely a Fab 5, top 5 game of Week 12. And obvious, and I'm only going to say it, to close out Monday Night Football, Philly at KC. That's my Fab 5. Cincy at Baltimore, Vegas at Miami, Arizona at Houston, Minnesota at Denver, Philly at KC. I'm gonna go opposite. I'm taking KC straight up, but I will take 2.5. Take Philly. That is only one of, I guess. I got about 4. I got 4 that I'm thinking that the spread might have effect. Let's break down the rest of these games. Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Head coach, Pittsburgh. Cleveland starting Dorian Thompson-Robinson over PJ Walker. He hasn't looked great, but he didn't even win a couple games. And DTR looked damn questionable. I think it was week 3 against the Ravens, threw 3 picks, 120 yards passing. And I would say, yeah, but they know him better. But can you trust the Cleveland Browns? Wah, wah, wah. So I'm going Pittsburgh on the road as a road dog. 1.5 points. I'm going to take Pittsburgh, and I'm taking Pittsburgh. Give me the 1.5 because Pittsburgh beats them outright, I believe. And it looks like that actually made my 4-pack. So we'll talk about that later. Chicago at Detroit. Detroit -8. Taking Detroit both ways, straight up, and give the 8. Chicago's not good. Head coach, definitely Detroit. That guy says all the right things. Players coach, they love him. That's the kind of run through the wall for a guy. No excuses, hard nose, culture, identity, all the things you look for that a head coach brings to a team. That's Dan Campbell. I love that guy. Quarterback Goff, Fields coming back. It looks like I need to see. They got 7 weeks, I guess, to figure out if he's their future. I don't see how you can just draft another quarterback and start over. Maybe you get rid of your defensive head coach and for one time hire an offensive guy. I guess Nagy was, but he was weird. Wide receiver room. Detroit, definitely. Running backs. Detroit. Everything. Defense, definitely Detroit. Clean sweep, Detroit. Give the 8. Automatic. Oh, look it. That's on my 4-pack too. I got it at -7.5 when I did the 4-pack. Pittsburgh was +1. So I did the 4-pack, I guess, yesterday. I did my picks Wednesday. Next, LA Chargers at Green Bay. Coach. Not really sure. I'm not sure LaFleur's good, but I'm going to take him. Quarterback, Chargers for sure. Running back room, Eckler, I think so, by a smidge. Wide receiver room, Quentin Johnston coming around. Just made a trade for him. That could be a league winner. I like his looks going forward. And 13, give the edge to LA. Where's Christian Watson? What's up with that? Jordan Love had a pretty good game last week in the loss. And defense, go to Green Bay, but I'm taking the Chargers straight up, and you can give the 3 points. We talked about Miami. New York Giants at Washington. Head coach, I will go Giants, but the guy's getting weird. Got to change your scheme. You got to figure it out when your quarterback situation isn't what it is. So slight edge in the coach. Quarterback, definitely Sam Howell. I'm digging that guy. Doesn't he lead the league in passing yards? Believe it or not. Running back room, Saquon behind a terrible offensive line. Brian Robinson. I think it's a push. And Antonio Gibson. Better than Breida. So I'm going to give a slight edge to Washington. Wide receiver room, definitely Washington. And then defense. Almost a landslide to Washington. Take Washington, give the 8.5 points, and move on. Dallas at Carolina. Head coach, I'll still give it a push. I like Reich. Just tough situation with Wee Man at quarterback. Quarterback, Dax Sometimes I hate 2-minute playing out of his head. Running back room. Yeah. Dallas. Wide receivers, Dallas. Defense, Dallas. Landslide. Dallas straight up. Dallas minus 10.5. Dallas survivor pool. Dallas money line. Dallas bet your grandma. I got Dallas. Moving on. Tennessee 3-6 at Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville here. This is one I'm going to bounce it back and forth, though. I like Jacksonville, but 7 points seems like a lot coming off a bye. Or no, coming off feels like a bye. Coming off a bye, and they got smoked at home by 30 points to San Fran, which are they back? Probably. What do you do here? Jackson for sure straight up. And I actually went, give me the 7 points. I'll take Tennessee. Head coach. I'm pretty close to a push. Quarterback. Jacksonville. Levis looked great his first game. It's always a comeback down to earth for rookies. Almost always. Example of something different. CJ Stroud. Oh, look at it. Running back room. What's going on with D. Henry? And what's going on with my guy, Damian Pierce? And then Singletary looks like a super stud last week. Damian Pierce, get healthy. Get in there. Or no. Oh, no, ETN. I'm sorry. Get mixed up. They all look the same, those teams. In the AFC South. Jacksonville, Houston. Familiar, Tennessee. Jacksonville, ETN. Super strong start, falling off. D. Henry, it's a push there. Wide receiver room, I'll go Jacksonville. I don't know what's up with Calvin Ridley. But I sure do like Christian Kirk. Tennessee, D-Hop had that one good game. And then defense, probably Jacksonville. So by a slight slant, Jacksonville wins on the preview, but I will take Tennessee plus 7. San Fran at Tampa Bay. No, other way around. Tampa Bay at the Bay. Straight up San Fran. I'm gonna flip flop though. 12 points is a lot. Tampa's not that bad. If Baker's on, head coach, San Fran. Quarterback, San Fran, but like I said, Baker's hit and miss when he's hit. Not bad. Oh shit, I gotta go get the kid. We're gonna speed this up. Tampa Bay plus 12. San Fran straight up. Jets at Buffalo. Jets at Buffalo. Take Buffalo both ways. I keep saying they're going to come around. They can't be this bad. Quit turning the ball over. Run the ball a little more. Take it out of Josh Allen's hands a little bit more. Push on the coach. 2 defensive guys. I don't know. I might like Saleh better. Definitely quarterback Buffalo, double check mark. Running back room, close to even. New York Jets should be better if they figure it out. Receiving room, Buffalo. Defense, probably Jets. I'm going Buffalo. Buffalo minus 7. Seattle at the Rams. Am I taking the Rams straight up? But then I'm taking Seattle minus 1. That makes no sense, but that's what it is. Then we got to finish this up. I got to go. pick up Emalani, the great, from school, first grade. Minnesota at Denver. What a rejuvenation for both teams, but I'm going Denver straight up, and I'm going Denver -2. That is my Week 11 preview. Hope it treats you good. I'm a game under 500. My 4-pack this week is Pittsburgh +1 at Cleveland with DTR at quarterback. I got the Chargers -3 at Green Bay. I got Dallas -10.5 at Carolina. I got Detroit at home -7.5 over Chicago. Take it to Vegas. I feel good about this week. Pittsburgh, Chargers, Dallas, Detroit. Brother Richie signing off, middle of the Pacific Ocean, the Spirit of Sports. I'm going to go pick up the kid. You know what I always say? Love yourself. Be good. Love your neighbor. Forgive. Make the world a better place. Swallow the hate. Give back love. I love you guys. And ahui ho. Aloha.